Hello, everyone, and welcome to this walkthrough of Kedro-Viz. My name is Nero Okwa, and I'm a product manager on the Kedro team. Today, I'll be doing a walkthrough on how to get started with Kedro-Viz, how to visualize your data pipelines, and how to perform experiment tracking in Kedro-Viz. Now, before you get started, first you need to have Kedro and Kedro-Viz installed. So to do this, I'll be using the spaceflight tutorial. But to get started, I'll also be using the spaceflight tutorial starter project, which once you use, it comes with all the code in place. Now, before we start, I would just like to draw your attention to the Kedro-Viz auto-reload command. This is important because once you put it in your CLI, it means that anytime you make changes to your project structure, it automatically reloads and generates and implements the changes in your UI, in the Kedro-Viz UI. Okay, and yeah, let's get started. Okay, so this is my VS Code. My screen just showing different aspects of my Kedro project, showing my conf base, parameters, catalog.yaml, my data, my docs, and obviously I've set up my virtual environment, and my project is spaceflights. Okay, so we would get started. Okay, so now that we have this set up, the next thing we'll do is to just do a Kedro run. Now, it's also important to note that you've done your pip install for requirement.txt to ensure that all your dependencies are up to date. And now that I've done this, I'll just do a Kedro run. Okay. Okay, and now that that's done, I'll then do, it's still loading the data, but once it's completed and everything is fine, no error messages, I'll then do Kedro-Viz to launch this. Okay, pipeline execution completed successfully, and now I'll do Kedro-Viz. Yeah, so this is the Kedro-Viz UI that's mentioned, and I'll just do a quick walkthrough. So as we can see, starting in, this is the Kedro-Viz UI. This is the button. Here is where you can see your nodes, your data sets, and everything you need. After that, you can come down. You can see your modular pipelines here and your nodes, and then you can come down to this filter section. This gives you the ability to filter to just show nodes, or to filter to just show data sets. So if I filter to just show nodes, now it's just a node showing. If I filter to just show data sets, and then you can also filter to just show parameters. Okay. And this middle tab here, you have just your options to hide the menu. So for example, like this, you have the option to hide the text layers, although we haven't showed the layers yet. And then you have an option just to download or export this pipeline image. Now, coming to this main DAG pipeline image, what this shows is, it shows how your data sets, your pipelines, how your data sets flow through your pipelines, through your nodes. So for example, you can see your shuttle data set flowing here into this node, your review data set. Now, the beauty of Kedro-Viz is that when you click on the data set, it will give you more information on the right. So if I click on this, it'll bring up this tab that says, it's a shuttle, it's a data set, this is data set type, this is the file path, which can be helpful. If you click on the node as well. It'll do the same thing. You can see the node name, the file path, and the run command if you want to specifically run that specific node. But there's also a very useful feature in Kedro-Viz known as code preview. So you can just come to this top where it says show code and toggle it, and then it shows you the code for that specific node. And you can do the same at each point. Go to your data sets and node. And yeah, that is the code preview. Now, the second section I would come to is Kedro-Viz has this very useful feature where it has this integration with Plotly and Matplotlib, and which can help you when you want to create plots, when you want to create charts, and to kind of do more insight on your data. So I'll just at this point share how to set up Plotly and Matplotlib in Kedro-Viz. So we'll go back to VS Code. Okay. Now, before I forget, we need to also put the reload, the Kedro-Viz reload, just to make sure it works. Okay. Now, to set up visualization with Plotly, basically you have 3 steps. The first one is you need to update the dependencies with because we have 2 types of Plotly datasets supported by Kedro, plotly.json and the Plotly dataset. Now you need to update the dependencies in your requirements.txt file and then do a pip install to make sure it's updated. The second step is you need to configure the data catalog and to create a template reporting node to kind of report the output. Okay, we'll just get started. Okay, so I'll go to my requirement.txt file and src. Yes, there you are. Okay, that is saved. Now that I've done that, I'll do a pip install to update the dependencies. Okay. Yeah, that is done. The next stage is to configure the data catalog. This would so that we can use those specific data sets. Now we can do this by going to our catalog.yaml file in conf base. So go to conf base catalog.yaml file. Okay, just go to the bottom here. Okay, so this is to create a plot for the shuttle passengers and a plot for the passenger capacity. Okay, now we've done it. The next stage is to create a reporting pipeline and to also update the node. Now, to create it, we can simply use the Kedro pipeline create command. So if we come here, okay. So now our pipeline reporting is complete. So we can look for that pipeline. Yeah, so there's a reporting pipeline. What's the pipeline applied file? sorry, the node.py file. Now we just paste the code as shown in our documentation. Yeah, that's saved. And now that we've created this node, we need to add this node so that it's registered in the pipeline.py file. So we'll just go here. Okay, so now that should be on. That should be all done. The next stage is just to do a Kedro run, just to make sure everything works. Kedro run. So yeah, that is still running. Now, once that is done, we can then visualize it in Viz and also do the same thing for Matplotlib. Okay, now we can actually just do the visualization setup for Matplotlib. So I just do the same thing. It's very similar to what we've done for Plotly. Basically, you just have to update the dependencies with the Matplotlib writer dataset. You need to configure your data catalog again, and you need to add a node for Matplotlib for the confusion matrix, and then update the pipeline to read that node. So if we just get started, first thing I'll do is update the dependency again in the requirement.txt file for Matplotlib. So if we come here. So yeah, guess we can add all the data sets together. Okay. And now that that's done, we'll go to the data catalog again, catalog.yaml, just to specify the output file for catalog.yaml. Okay. And now we'll add another node. In the node.py file, we'll come over here. Yeah, that is all done. Return the plots. And finally, we would update the pipeline. So we'll go to the pipeline.py file so that it registers this node we just created. Just put all the from statements together. Okay, and that should be all done. And now we can run the pipeline and everything should be okay. Okay, so I have a dataset error reception cannot be loaded from Kedro, so I probably need to update the dependency. So I do a pip install so that it's registered. Okay, so that is installing. Okay, that's on, and then I'll do Kedro run again. Completed 2 out of 7. That seems to look nicely. Completed 7 out of 7. Pipeline execution completed. Fantastic. So now we can visualize in Kedro-Viz. And it should open up in our browser. Okay, so now we have installed Matplotlib, integrated Plotly, and then we've run Kedro-Viz again just to see what it looks like. And as we can see, this change is reflected in our UI. So for Plotly, if you come to the shuttle data set, you can see there's 2 plots. So shuttle capacity plot with the file path, and also when you click it, it opens this side panel where you can see a mini version of the plot. And then you click expand, it shows it, and it comes with everything, your Plotly, so you can integrate, you can interact with the plot. Okay, so to collapse, and then we go to the second one, shuttle passenger capacity plot. Again, expand Plotly visualization, and you get this nice plot which you can interact with. Now, for the Matplotlib, we created for the confusion matrix. If you come here and you go to let me configure matrix, again, you can see it on the side, Matplotlib writer, and the run command, and the option to, this is the confusion matrix, to expand your Matplotlib. And you can see the predicted and the actual. And that shows that that works nicely. Now, there's one more really important feature I would like to show in Kedro-Viz. And it's this, Kedro-Viz gives you the opportunity to kind of visualize layers. This is just this is in agreement with a lot of data engineering convention, where you can show your raw layer, your primary layer, your intermediate layer, your processing layer. And yeah, so for that, we'll go back to VS Code and just update. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so again, we'll go to add these layers, we'll go to the catalog.yaml file again. And what we will do is for each of these data sets, so companies, reviews, shuttles, pre-processed companies, will add under them a description of the layer, like so. So the new convention in Kedro is there's a metadata. Wait, I'll show it. Okay, and that just shows that that's on the raw layer in terms of the raw data ingestion. We'll do the same for review. Do the same thing for shuttles. Metadata. Okay, that's correct. Pre-processed companies, but instead we do, because this is pre-processed, so we do it on the intermediate layer. Make sure the indentation is right. Yeah, that's correct. All the pre-processed, intermediate. And then for the model input layer, we'll call that the primary layer. And for the regressor, we'll call that the models layer. Okay, now that it is done, we then just do a Kedro run, make sure that it's registered. So if this runs, we would open it up again in Kedro-Viz, which will then show the different layers. Okay, so we have a dataset error failed while loading data from Excel dataset. Got some unexpected keyword arguments, metadata. Okay, so let's just move it correctly to metadata Kedro-Viz layer, check indentation, loading data from shuttles. Pipeline execution completed. Okay, so let's visualize this. Okay, so now we've opened Kedro-Viz, and I will just share this in the browser. It's opened in the browser. New share. Yeah. Okay, aha. So there we can see now that the layers have been added. We have the raw layer, the intermediate layer, the primary layer, and the model layer. And that is it. Okay, you have it. To conclude, today for Kedro-Viz, we've looked at we started off using the Kedro-Viz spaceflight starter, and we've also showed the code preview feature. We've also showed how to set up Plotly and Matplotlib to be able to visualize these plots in Kedro-Viz. And thirdly, we've shown how to set up layers in Kedro-Viz, and finally to run Kedro-Viz. And I hope this walkthrough has been useful, and good luck in your use of Kedro-Viz. Bye for now.